Hi, my name is Christy Lynn Ramos, and I'm one of the counselors at Ardrey-Kell High School. We are so excited for you to be joining us next year in high school. So today we're going to talk about how to fill out your registration card. This is the card that lists all the classes that we offer for ninth graders at Ardrey-Kell, and it can be a little confusing. There's a lot of information on here, so we're going to go over it together so we can make sure we're all on the same page and you're feeling confident about classes next year. So the first thing is, when you receive your card, it will already have a label at the top with some information about you. And then down here, we're asking for you to fill in this personal information just in case we need to contact you or your parent after the registration process. You'll see a website right here that lists all the information about all these classes that you might possibly need, and then all the directions here, which I'm going to go over. One of the main things about high school that's different from middle school is you'll take 8 classes next year. So 8 classes total next year. So that's the main thing we want to do, is pick our top 8 choices. And we're going to mark all of those choices with an X. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the front, and we see these 4 main boxes: English, math, science, and social studies. So I'm going to first decide what level of each class I want to take and then fill those in with an X. So there are some requirements for some of these classes, and we just want you to pay attention to those, but we will also use feedback from test scores to make sure that you're placed in the right classes. So I'm going to start with English, and I really like English. I love to read. I've always gotten A's in English, so I'm going to mark Honors English. Now, honors, something to know about honors is it's going to be a little bit more work. It's going to be more independent study. And I would say if you're a student who generally gets A's in a subject, honors is probably going to be a good fit for you next year. If you're somebody who really kind of struggles or it's not your favorite subject, standard is a good fit for you. And if you're somebody who really doesn't do well in those classes, your counselor will work with you to decide what class is going to be best for you. So back to the card, I picked Honors English again because I make A's in the class and I really enjoy it. So I'm going to pick Honors English. For math, I am also not so great at math, and I know my test scores last year weren't great, so I'm going to pick Foundations of Math, which is actually 2 classes. There's 2 lines there for that. Science, I don't really love science, so I'm just going to pick Standard Earth Science. And then for history, I'm going to pick Honors History because I do love history. So that right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 classes. We need to pick 8 total, so that's 3 more I'm going to have to pick. Every freshman has to take health and PE, but I'm going to pick that one last just because we want to make sure it matches up. So one unique thing about Ardrey-Kell is that some of our classes are offered for 1 semester and some classes are offered all year long. Those are going to be language classes, arts classes, some electives, and then PE also is offered 8A, B-Day if we want it to be. So all of the classes that are in bold font, you can look here and see the difference in these 2 PEs. Here's one that's not in bold font. This one is in bold font. This one here is offered every other day. So if I selected this one, I have to choose another class in bold to pair up with it because they're going to be paired up together all year long. Don't get too caught up in what pairs with what or anything. Just know that you either have to have 2, 4, or none. So 2 classes in bold, 4 classes in bold, or no classes in bold. And that's okay. So we're going to come back to this in a second. So on the back, we have a arts box, general box, career box, and world language. You do not have to pick something from every single box. These are just sorted so that you can kind of read them a little bit easier. Couple things to know. World language, treat it like a core class. So if you're somebody whose school is a little bit more difficult, you're a little anxious about getting into high school and doing well, I would say to put off a language class maybe until 10th or 11th grade. You still have tons of time to take those. So if you're a little hesitant, I would not pick a language for next year. The arts classes are not required. Sometimes students think you have to take one to graduate. That's not necessarily true. We'd love for you to take one if you want to. And then the general electives and career and business electives are just out there for anything you like. So this is kind of where you just get to pick, what do I like? What am I good at? What do I want to do next year? So I'm going to start by picking, let's see, marketing. That's about advertising, which sounds pretty interesting to me. And then every freshman is allowed to pick up to 2 AP classes. That's college level classes. So if you're somebody who really wants to get into higher level college classes right away, freshmen are allowed to select 2 of those. So you'll see those on the card as well. And that is the maximum number of classes as a freshman you can take of AP classes, 2. I'm not going to pick any of those because I'm not really feeling it for next year, but I just wanted you to know. So that's marketing, that's class number 6. And then I'm going to choose, let's see, let me look at the front again. I'm also going to choose theater because I really like theater. So now I've got on the front, I have not picked PE yet. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now I need to pick a PE class that matches up with my other classes. So right now I only have one class in bold. So I need to go back to the front and pair it up with the PE class that's in bold. I know this is confusing, and so this is something that when we come to your school to meet with every single student individually, if you feel like you messed this up or didn't do it right, we are happy to help you with it. It is very confusing and overwhelming sometimes, so we understand it, but we will make sure that you have it scheduled the right way. So now I've got English, math, history, earth science, PE, theater, and marketing. Now here's the thing, unfortunately sometimes we don't get all the classes that we want to get, and so sometimes the computer needs to figure out what other classes you'd be okay with being put in, and we don't want to just put you into a class that you did not ask for. So that's why at the bottom here we have chances for you to put in 6 backup classes. You need to pick 6 that are in bold and 6 that are not in bold so that we can be sure that we're only putting you in classes. I'm sorry, 3 that are in bold and 3 that are not in bold for 6 total, sorry. And then that will ensure that we're only putting you in classes that you want to be in if, let's say, marketing is full or theater is full. So I will fill those in, and the most important thing here is that you do not repeat anything, even if it's on the card 2 times. So for example, marketing, I've selected as a non-bold class. Even though it's offered in bold and there's a good looking spot for it right here, I cannot put that down. You can't put any class twice, even if it's listed twice. So I'm going to select also art, chorus, and sociology. And for my 1 semester, I'm going to put backups of drafting, business, and let's see, Microsoft Excel. All right, so once I have this completely filled out with 3 bold alternates and 3 non-bold alternates, I'm gonna sign the bottom. I'm gonna talk to my parents and my teachers about this because they're gonna be the best helper in deciding, should I take honors? Should I take a language? Should I take an AP class? Your teachers and your parents currently are going to be your best helpers in filling out this card. Again, we just want you to do your best. We want you to have a balanced year. We want you to have a good transition into high school. We don't want you to take on too much. We want you to just really have a good year. So what you're going to do is once you fill this out completely, you'll return it to the school. The counselors will be at your school from AK. We'll come to your school at the end of March, and we will go over every single choice with you, make sure you feel comfortable and confident in your selections, and then we'll see you in the fall here at AK. Have a great day.